Hi, this week we're going to be testing out we're going to be charging up these 3 rods with these 3 different cloths, and we're going to see how the charges are transferred from the other, and we're going to be testing it.
The materials we're going to be using for this lab are we're going to use 3 different rods. So we're going to use an acrylic rod, and we're going to use a PVC, and we're also going to be using a glass rod. Now we're going to be charging these with fur, wool, and silk. We're also going to be using an electrometer to measure. Right now we're not focused on the numbers, we're focused on the negative or positive, which is what side it goes into. This is already hooked up to our ice pelt that we're going to be using with the cables, and it's also grounded. We're going to be using this little stand, which has an aluminum foil ball at the end of it, and these spheres.
Hello, to begin the procedure, we'll be using the acrylic rod, and then we're going to be charging it with the wool. So here's the wool, and then we're just going to charge it like that. And then we're going to be seeing what the charge is with our electrometer. So right here we see it's -3, so our charge for that is negative. So next, we're going to be charging the same acrylic rod with a silk cloth. So the same way, we're going to charge it like that. And then we're going to bring it close so it can read a charge. So with that, it's -0.6. -0.7, -0.8. So we see it's leaning towards the negative, so this has a negative charge as well. And then we still see it increase and fluctuate the two numbers. Okay. And then with our last cloth, we're going to be using wool. And then we do that the same way. We charge it with the wool. So with that, we see -3, so that's definitely negative because you can see how it fluctuates all the way to negative. Okay, so this is definitely negative charged, and then you can see it move on the electrometer. Okay, and then the next one we're gonna do is we're gonna do the PVC. So the next rod we're gonna be trying is the PVC rod. So we're gonna be charging it with the fur. So we charge it the same way that we charge the PVC. I mean, the acrylic, sorry. So this is the PVC. So we're gonna charge it with the electrometer, and you see it's positive. So already from afar, you can see it picks up the charge, and it's definitely positive. Okay, so I'm gonna try it again. So already there's some distance, and it's still picking up the charge from here, so you know it's definitely positive. Okay, so using the same rod, the PVC, we're going to be trying it with a silk cloth. So we charge it the same way. Okay, and then we check it with our electrometer, and it's positive again. So this has a lot more distance than when it was charged with the fur, but it's still positive. And then we're going to be trying it with our wool, and we charge it the same way. And then, so again, we see like there's a huge distance, and it's still picking up the positive charge. So with all of the cloths, it was positive for the PVC rod. For our last rod, we'll be charging a glass rod. So we'll be charging it with the fur again, the same way we were charging the acrylic and the PVC. Okay, and then we're gonna see on the electrometer the charge. So we see it's positive. So again, like already at a somewhat distance, it's positive. So it's losing its charge. So we're observing that the charge is being lost a lot faster for the glass rod comparing to the PVC and the acrylic. So there you go. You see, the more you charged it, the more energy it picked up. Okay, so again with this one, it's picking it up. Okay, so for the next one, we're going to be using the wool. So with the wool, we're going to be charging it the same way. Okay. So again, it was positive. So this one doesn't have as much distance, but it's probably because it hasn't been charged enough. Let's see. Okay, charged a little more, yeah. It's still positive. So it was also positive with the wool. So lastly, we're gonna be charging it with silk, with a silk cloth. Charging it the same way we have with the other ones, and we're gonna check the charges. Okay. And it's also positive. Again, we see that with some sort of distance, a charge is being shown on the electrometer. And we see it's positive. So if you charge it enough, we're observing that you can see a charge being shown on the electrometer at a distance because we charged it longer and the charge is being shown.
Part A. As a group, we predict that the aluminum foil is going to get attracted by the charged PVC. Part A. So first we're going to charge them both. And now we're gonna put it next to the aluminum foil without touching, just to see how they react. Well, as we can see, there's a little bit of attraction here. Okay. Part B. As a group, we predict that if we put the charged foil next to the aluminum foil, it's gonna get attracted by touching, and then the charges from the rolling are gonna transfer to the aluminum foil. Okay. So first we're gonna charge it again, just in case. And now we're gonna set up the roll next. We're gonna touch the aluminum foil with the roll. As we can see, there's attraction.
Okay, so for part B, our predictions were right. We assumed that the charge rod was going to attract to the aluminum foil.
For part D, what I think is going to happen is that if you touch the rod, you're going to pass the charges, and then if you separate them and bring it closer again, they're going to want to repel because you're going to have the same charge. So let's try that. The rod is already charged, but we're going to charge it more. And then we're going to touch the ball. There we go. We're touching it. And then we're going to separate them. Furthermore. And now if you bring it closer, I think they will repel because they have the same charge. Well, we as a team think. Oh, they do repel right there. You see if I bring it closer? Well, porque nada está pasando, ¿no? Déjamelo, ¿no? Okay. So we're gonna touch the charge rod with the neutral ball, and what we think will happen is that it's gonna pass the charges, and then if we separate them and bring them together again, they're gonna repel. So we touch it.
Like Rocky.
Now we're gonna separate them, and we're gonna bring it closer together. You can kind of see that it is repelling. I bring the rod closer, and it wants to move to the other side.
So I want to work at the mill, like at an aluminum mill. So
Part E of E explaining what induction means. So induction pretty much means charging an object without physically touching and transferring the charges. So what happens is that you have some coils and the currents are going one way and the another. This is called an alternating current, so it goes like this, and then with the electromagnetic field, you're creating one like this, and then as you're creating the electromagnetic field, you're charging the object, and it's pretty much charging the object without physically touching.
We're gonna start by charging the acrylic rod. This is gonna get a negative charge. So we're gonna charge it, and then we're gonna bring these two together. We're charging it, and then we're gonna place this close to one of them and not touching them. This is gonna make the electrons move to the other side since they're repelled, and a negative charge is gonna be moved onto this ball. Now while the rod is still close, we're gonna separate them. This one will stay with a positive charge because of this, all the electrons and the negative charge moved to the farthest part, which was this ball. And now we're gonna test it. This is gonna be the negative one, and we're gonna put it close to the electrometer. -3. It's very negative. This is the positive one, and we're gonna put it close. It worked.
Okay.
Data and analysis. So as we can see from this table, the acrylic, when it was charged with fur, it became negative charge. When it was charged with silk, it was negative. And when it was charged with wool, it was negative again. And for the glass, when the rod was charged with fur, it was positive. When it was charged with silk, it was positive. When it was charged with wool, it was positive. And for the PVC pipe, when the rod was charged with fur, it was positive. And with silk, it was negative. And with the wool, it was positive.
Hello. In conclusion, we learned that we can charge an object by friction, and then we can transfer charges. For example, if we put a negative into a neutral object and we put it together, all the positives are going to get attracted to the negative, and all the negatives are going to get repelled, and they're going to go to this side. Now, if we want to make an object, a neutral object, for example, positive, then we put them together, and then we put it here. So all the positive charges from this are going to transfer to this side, and then we touch it. So now the transfers are there, and then we remove it. And now this one's going to be positive, and this one's going to be negative.
Hello, my name is Gabby, and I did the procedure and the data analysis.
Hello, I'm Emily Alvarez, and I did the procedure and the conclusion.
Hi, I'm Gabriela. I did the materials and the extra credit question.
Hi, I did the data analysis and the introduction.
Hi, I'm Itzel. I helped with the extra credit question. I recorded the video and then I'll edit it.